Welcome, Mercenaries! I'm your host, Get Good Fox, and this is a quick build guide for the Centurion A. This is the normal, everyday Centurion, the same one that you would get in the beginning of the campaign. I'm going to show you how to use this mech, and after we're done, I will show you a redesign that may benefit you, because this mech is honestly not terrible in its stock config. Then I'm going to send it into this exact same battle again, and we'll see how it performs. So let's get started. Now, if you're having trouble using the Centurion, especially in the campaign, I am building this quick build guide from the perspective of a new player who I believe is the primary person who'd want a Centurion build. If you're having trouble with it, don't feel bad. The Centurion is actually rather challenging to use in the campaign because it's not very fast. The mech is designed to engage enemies at a medium to long range where it can use its missiles and autocannon, but because you fight so many fast enemies, they get to decide the battlefield by closing the distance with you. So when we customize this, I will be giving you a rebuild based on the perspective of being a newer, more novice player to the MechWarrior experience, and this battle will simulate an early game battle with tons of enemies wanting to rush into close combat. Anyways, on to the mech stats. The 50-ton Centurion is a medium mech and is absolutely iconic to the Federated Suns. Its top speed is 64 kilometers per hour, which is slow by medium mech standards. You'd expect a medium mech to go about 81 kilometers. However, the slow running speed means that it has a smaller and lighter engine. Lighter engine means more room for weapons and armor. Speaking of the weapons, we're equipped with an AC-10. The AC-10 is located in the arm, meaning if it's destroyed, you lose most of your firepower because the AC-10 is the mech's primary weapon. Backing it up is an LRM-10 in the left torso. And then finally, it has a pair of medium lasers in the center torso. The mech is capable of fighting enemies at any range, but because the missiles have a minimum firing range, most of the time you're going to find you can either use the missiles and the cannon or the cannon and the lasers, which is why the cannon is so important. And the battle begins. When piloting the Centurion, you may find the first issue is that it's hard to hit things with the AC-10, especially when they are moving fast. Now this guy's moving straight at me, but when he's moving to the side like this, oh, it can be a very hard shot to make. If you're having trouble with the AC-10, don't feel bad. This weapon is much more effective against a larger target that is easier to hit. But if you do manage to land some hits, it does a lot of damage. Unfortunately, if you start missing a lot of your shots, you lose most of your damage, as the AC-10 is your mech's primary weapon. Wherever possible, do try to engage the enemy at a longer range. This does make you in a more passive role. You do have the option to get closer, just remember that you won't have access to the much more accurate missiles. In addition to that, speaking of ammo real fast, you've got plenty. The standard Centurion has 2 tons of LRM ammo and 2 tons of AC-10 ammo, so make those shots. It's a great mech to start learning how to use the AC-10. Now the next wave is coming. Take a moment to look at the different enemies. Since they have to approach us, we have time to scan them and see what we're dealing with. I see that we have a Vulcan here, but I'm curious as to what those enemy vehicles are. The Vulcan isn't a massive threat. Over there, I see that we've got a Panther, and more importantly, a Partisan. Because you hang back a lot, it does give you time to try to figure out who the real threat is. This Partisan AC-5 is extremely dangerous due to its quadruple AC-5s. It has to be destroyed basically now. Fortunately, we are able to use a counter-bombardment against it, even though we are ignoring the other enemies. Absolutely worth it to shut down all of that damage. Now we're trapped in close combat, and this will be a very familiar sight for a lot of people. And what I want to do is just rapidly core this mech out, trying to go fully center torso with every attack. And down he goes. I'm ordering the Lance to focus on this less threatening Vulcan. It does need to go, though it's fine if I divert to shooting at something else. If you can nail a vehicle with the AC-10, it will flatten it very easily. Most vehicles cannot withstand it. And overall, that was a trickier battle. But now he's dust. Another mixed engagement coming in. The helicopters will probably hit us first. However, that Kintaro is on a very aggressive movement. I'm going to have my allies take it out while I focus on the Kintaro. It's moving straight at us, so I'm going to try to focus all of my firepower center torso on it. But this is a very dangerous mech with a lot of firepower. Wouldn't be surprised if we take a lot of damage here. There's my opportunity to knock out the chopper. The healthier side of the mech is facing me. I don't have any really nice shots here, but we're going to move into close combat. Maybe I can get a nasty rear shot right there with the lasers too, through his armor. Gonna try to stay behind him. Big shot there. And he's down as well. This is a mech that doesn't have very much range combat, so I'm going to tell my Lance to fall back. And we're going to try to get as many cheap shots as possible. Even if I miss, it's better than nothing. Taking a lot of damage there. The Lance is on him now. And he is flattened. And what's this? Yes, I called in some mercs to ambush us to represent a close-range ambush, which is often not what this mech excels at. But it looks like we're in luck because the close-range ambush has decided to appear over a hill. I'm going to try to knock its arm off, which is where the AC-5 is located. The arm is nearly out. There, its arm is down. That's going to greatly reduce its firepower. Now let's try to take it out. Our mech is not particularly fast. Come on. Go down. We almost have him. I'm gonna hold fire looking for the right shot. There he goes. And here we are back in the mech bay. Let's quickly go over the weapons a second time. So we've got our AC-10 in the right arm, our LRM-10 in the left torso, our pair of medium lasers, and as you can see, we've got 2 tons of AC-10 ammo, 2 tons of LRM ammo, and 2 heat sinks. So the variation I'm about to give you, I wouldn't necessarily call it better per se, because this mech is designed to fit many roles. What it will be better for is the new player who is struggling to use the Centurion. This is a rebuild for new players. And here we are. So what did I do? The first thing I did was switch out the LRM-10 for an SRM-4. Why? I feel like most new players are probably going to get trapped in close combat where they're not going to be able to lock on with the missiles. Remember, they won't fire if the enemy's too close. I went with an SRM-4 because I want more firepower, but I would like a little extra space because this version of the mech will overheat relatively quickly and I wanted more heat sinks. The next thing I did was switch the AC-10 into an AC-10 burst fire. This is going to be great for the new player because it will fire a volley of shots that do a comparable amount of damage, and that means it's not going to be all or nothing. You're going to miss a lot against scurrying light mechs, and this burst fire variation will mean that you'll probably at least score some hits against the enemy, and against the light mech, any hit is not a good hit. The medium lasers will remain the same so that we can swat down helicopters and needle out weak points on an enemy mech. We have similar ammo, 2 tons of AC-10, 1 ton of SRMs. We move them to the legs. Note that I distribute the AC-10 ammo, 1 in each leg. That way, if a leg is destroyed, we don't lose all of our ammo. And now we have 4 heat sinks to try to keep up with all of the weapons fire, but when all of the weapons are going on simultaneously, it's still going to heat up. Lastly, we have 64 more points of armor, and we are fully hardened everywhere except on the head, where we took off a little bit of armor, and on the legs, where we also took off a little bit of armor, but it is still an extremely hard mech. Now, you may be tempted to believe that because we reduced our long-range firepower, we probably shouldn't be fighting at long range, but that's actually not the case. We still have an AC-10, and wherever possible, we should be using it to engage the enemy at a distance. It's just now that when the enemy comes up close, we're not worried about them. We can let them have it, and we can take matters into our own hands just like this.
Hostiles are escalating their assault on your position, Commander. Be careful.
Let's pull our mechs back. Let me try to get some cheap shots on them.
On station.
As you can see, the burst fire is a lot more generous. Now that the enemy's close in, let's let them have it. The combined firepower easily flattened that mech. It only got a single shot off. We've got plenty of ammo, so just let them have it. You can kind of move your mouse a little bit like that to spread the shots out. These light targets just can't handle much damage, so even a few shots will bring them down. Once again, we can bombard the enemy at a distance. As you can see, the damage is still quite significant, and by swinging the shot, we don't need to hit with everything. Here comes the Vulcan, and just like last time, we should, if possible, try to do some damage at range. We got plenty of ammo, and look at that, even an incomplete shot is doing a lot. He's already in the orange on his armor. And now that I don't need to score complete hits, I feel a lot more confident engaging him. Up close, we are absolutely deadly. We can just let him have it with everything and absolutely flatten an enemy in moments, combining all of our weapons at once. Same with this one. We just let him have it with everything, and there's no way he's going to be able to handle all of that. Next is the battle with the Kintaro, choosing a different direction to come from. You can also volley enemies with the missiles, though they got to be a little bit closer. This is close enough, though, as you can see. We want to burst this guy down quickly, so even though it's going to make us very hot, we're going to fire with all weapons here. Smoked them.
I got it.
A similar battle awaits us here. Let's try to take cover.
Your objective is complete.
And our allies flanked them and took them out. We've got a Wolverine to knock out of here.
We'll go. Focusing fire.
Once again, all of our weapons are usable, so let's go ahead and use them. I'm gonna try to focus them out. Unlike the previous battle, where I had to be a little more careful, I can actually just go straight center torso here. We are having a little bit of a heat thing, but that's the end of him. Now, if you wanted to use LosTech, first thing I'd say is try to find one of the newer models of the Centurion that might be even better than the standard one, the CN9-A, but if you did want to upgrade the standard Centurion, first, I would take the AC-10 and upgrade it to the LBX AC-10. It weighs 1 ton less. Put that 1 extra ton on an LRM-10 Artemis. The Artemis system causes it to weigh 1 ton more. Now, because this mech has expensive stuff, we want to harden its armor to the max. So to save 2 tons of extra space, we got 1 double heatsink. That takes 2 tons of heat sinks and combines it into 1. And then we also downgraded the medium lasers into small lasers for close range defense, and also saving 1/2 ton per medium laser. So 2 small lasers downgraded is 1 extra ton. Otherwise, everything is more or less the same, but I would recommend simply finding a newer model of the Centurion that has better stats to begin with. Anyways, that is my quick rebuild for the Centurion. Hopefully it helps you get the hang of the campaign. I know MechWarrior 5 can have quite a steep learning curve, and so I hope this helps you smash a few extra pesky mechs in close range that might be aggravating you. If you want to join my community, though, and learn how to play, I do have a Discord. I also play on Twitch, where you can see me play MechWarrior 5. You can ask all the questions you want, both on my Discord and on my Twitch, and I'm willing to help you get good. Anyway, stay tuned for another quick rebuild guide. Not sure what I've decided yet, but it'll be there. Like the video, subscribe if you want to see more MechWarrior content, and of course remember that you don't have to be good to get good.